Good morning. Welcome to this workout for the Avenues Crofton Park. We'll do our normal workout today, seated plus a little bit of standing. You will need your own chair, plus some light weights. And apparently this morning you're also going to need a sassy black cat named Ruby. She is determined to help us out this morning, and there's no telling her no. So we'll see what it's like to do a workout with a cat. You can see just exactly how crazy it is at my house and why I love to come work with you guys instead. So, as we normally do, we're going to sit up nice and tall, front edge of your chair, shoulders back and down, and we're going to gently tilt the chin up and down, stretching the neck. We're going to do a basic head to toe warm up first. Then we'll add some weight work and some stretches. Now I'm going to stop with my chin parallel to the floor, and I'm going to rotate, looking over the left shoulder and then the right. And I'll take a second here to mention that you're going to have to provide your own soundtrack today, because I don't own the rights to record the music that we normally play in class. Nice. Now I'm going to stretch the front of the shoulders a little bit. So I've got my arms straight. There's the kitty. Pet the kitty while you're down there. Thumbs forward, elbows straight, and I'm going to reach one arm at a time. Up and down. I'm trying to keep the arms lined up right in front of the shoulder. I'm trying not to do this where I come out to the side or this where I come up around that way. I'm trying to just come straight in front. Your shoulder may stop you right about here. That's fine, right? Just keep it in that plane of motion and just go as far as you like. And hopefully as you do a few repetitions, it loosens up a little bit and you get a little stretch in your upper back and in the front of your shoulder, and that should feel good. Now we're going to do our goalpost arms. I'm going to sweep the elbows together in front and then pinch shoulder blades together and down in back. So I stretch across the back of the shoulders in this direction and across the front of the shoulders and the chest when I come back this way. And again, I'm trying to lift up tall while I do this rather than slumping forward. There we go. Nice. Ruby's being really good. I can hear her purring from here, but the mic probably doesn't pick it up. But she's being a good girl for a change. Nice. Good. Now I'm going to do shoulders in a circle. So I'm going to put my fingertips on my shoulders and use my elbows to draw nice small circles, getting bigger and bigger as we go. And again, keeping it in a range of motion that's pain-free. Beautiful. What you can't see is that there are two other cats in the room with me, but thankfully this is kitty sleeping time, and those guys are sound asleep, and they should likely leave us alone the whole time. And now I'm going to switch directions on my circles, so I'm going to draw the circles backwards. I'm going to start small again and gradually get bigger as the shoulders allow. And I'm just letting the shoulders tell me where they want to go. I'm tuning in and listening to see just how stiff they are. Yes. Very stiff, Ruby. Okay, so now let's do a little cat-cow. I'm still sitting forward on the front edge of my chair. Got my hands on my knees. I'm going to tuck my tailbone underneath me, arch the back, and tuck the chin. And then I'm going to lift up tall, rock forward through the pelvis onto my sit bones, regain the lumbar curve here, and reach the chin up to the ceiling. And I'm just going to go back and forth between those two endpoints. I'm going to pet the kitty. Oh, what a good girl she is. Not. Ruby, get down, please. I know, get down. You're such a pain in the neck. Oh, she heard us say cat cow and she wants to show us how it's done. Nice. Now I'm going to do a little rotation. Again, this is just a warm-up, so I want you to just go easy the first few times. I've got my arms crossed in front. I'm going to ask the cat to stop tearing up my clothes, and I'm going to rotate left and right. I'm not going as far as I absolutely can, just till I feel things tighten up, and then I reverse direction. And I'm lifting tall through the spine as I rotate. Nice. Now I'm going to tilt to the side. So sitting up tall again, shoulders back and down. My arms are just hanging by my sides. And I'm just going to lean down and down. And again, I'm trying to make sure that my head is stacked over my shoulders and over my hips. I'm trying to do this not from that slumped forward position. That's a different stretch. So up nice and tall and then tilt. Oh yeah, that feels good. Nice. I always forget to do this in class, but it always feels good. So let's go to the hands a little bit. Let's do a soft fist and then a big open. Soft fist and then really open as wide as you can with your fingers. And if you can, bend your fingers back a little bit. Soft fist, big open. Soft fist, big open. Nice. Let's do some circles at the wrists. Nice and easy. And then a few the other way. Just loosening up. Nice. Now I'm going to come down to the feet. I'm going to slide my toes a little bit ahead of my knees, still sitting up nice and tall, and I'm just going to draw the knees or the toes toward the knees. Just loosen up the ankles a little bit. We're going to really try to get everything awake and moving and loosened up so that you feel good for the rest of the day. And now I'm going to slide my heels underneath my knees and pick up my heels. Hello, Ruby. Yes, I know. I know. Everybody's ignoring you. Look, all these people are here watching you and nobody's petting you. Can you believe that? Nobody's petting you. Does anybody need a cat? She's really friendly. Oh, she's a good girl. She just loves everybody. Okay, you stay there. Now, sit up nice and tall. Depending on where the cat goes, I'm going to straighten and bend one leg at a time. That's right. You stay on that side while I work on this side. Straighten and bend from the knee. So I'm contracting the front of the thigh, stretching the back of the thigh. Trying not to kick the cat. Just goes to show, whatever you have in your way, you can work out. No excuses. Nice. Everybody has obstacles, right? Mine are just furry and four-legged. I'm going to switch legs, straighten and bend at the knee. Who doesn't love watching a cat interfere with a workout? Anyway, this workout is way less fun without you guys in the room, so thankfully Ruby's here to provide the entertainment. Nice. I'll be interested to see if you can hear her purring. I don't think the microphone will pick that up, but she has a loud purr. Nice. As you know, I'm not counting. I'm totally going by feel, just like I do in class. I can't see whether any of you are counting, so forgive me if I do 17 on one leg and 11 on the other. All right, here we go. Swing one leg out to the side, back to the center. We're just working the side of the hip, getting that kind of loosened up and warmed up. I'm sitting up tall as I do this, pulling in on the belly button. Nice. Here we go. That feels pretty good. I don't know, is that approaching 12? That feels about right. Now I'm going to do the other leg. Since there's a cat in my way, I'm going to turn sideways so I don't kick her. There we go. Nice. Who says we can't multitask? Good. That feels about right. Let's do rotation at the hips. So I'm going to stretch both legs out straight, about shoulder width apart, give or take the width of a cat's tail, and I'm going to rotate toes in and toes out. So the rotation actually comes from all the way up here at the hips. The knees and the toes follow along. Nice. Again, just loosening up. My cat has dirty feet. I tell ya. Good, that feels good. All right, here we go. Let's do some sit-ups. Sitting forward on the chair. I've got my arms crossed in front. I'm going to lift up tall, suck in on my belly button, lean back till my shoulders touch the chair, and then sit back up. Excellent. That feels pretty good. This chair does not have quite the bounce that the chairs in the Avenues fitness room have, so I have to actually do this with my muscles. And each time I sit up, I'm just drawing in on the belly button to help support the spine and to generate the movement from deep in the core. That looks really good. Are we getting close to done? Just about, just about. Let's do two more. Ready? Here's one and two. Nice. Now we're going to do our marching steps. So I'm sitting forward on the chair, leaning back a little bit, holding on. I've got one leg out straight, one knee pulled up toward my chest, belly button drawn in, and then I'm going to switch legs. So the easiest version is the way I'm doing it now, where I keep one foot on the floor at all times. I do the switch down there at the floor. A little bit harder is to do the switch in midair so that you're keeping both feet off the floor. You'll feel right away you really have to hold on through your belly to make that happen. And a little bit harder yet is to just draw up both knees at a time. You won't want to do too many of those, right? Even if you do just one or two, that's plenty. And again, if your low back gives you problems with that move, you do the easier for all of those. Okay, what do you think? Are we warmed up? I think so. Let's get weights. So, take your time. I know most of you have your weights under the chair, so I'll give you a second to grab them and get caught up with me. And I'm going to start with one weight in each hand. And arms down by my sides, shoulders pinched back and down. And I'm going to start with the hammer curl to press. So I'm going to bring thumbs to shoulders and then press straight up in front, back to shoulders, and then open all the way down. Now you'll notice I'm trying to keep my elbows right here in front of my shoulders as I lift. So that's different than if I were to do this, where I let the shoulders drift or the elbows drift out, right? I want to keep the elbows right in front. And I'm only lifting as far as my shoulders want to go. So if yours stop you here, that's where you stop. We are not in the business of pushing through pain in this class. We're in the business of avoiding pain. Nice, here we go. Up and down. Remember, half the work, at least half the work, is controlling the move on the downstrokes instead of just letting them drop. Nice, again, not counting, no idea how many we've done. Let's say just last one here. Excellent. I think that'll work. Let's do a tricep extension. So we've got one weight in each hand. I'm going to fold forward over my lap. I'm keeping a nice long spine with shoulders dropped down toward the back pockets. I've got the elbows bent and pointed up behind me. And then I'm going to just straighten the elbows to the back. I'm going to try to straighten them all the way and even hold for just a beat, and then bend the elbows back. So hopefully between the forward view and the rear view in the mirror behind me, you can kind of see what's going on here. Here's what I want you to try not to do. It's tempting to bring your whole arm back down, but I want you to keep that elbow lifted, right? So shoulders don't move at all, just the elbow bends and straightens. You should really feel this in the back of the upper arm. And it's fine if you need to do this with a lighter weight or with no weight. That works just fine. Excellent. I knew we could not get through a workout without a cat in the litter box. So there you go. Just goes to show they have no respect for anybody's privacy. That's plenty of that. All right, doing my best to ignore the cat. Let's go to a one-armed row. So I've got both weights in one hand. I am folded forward over my lap. I've got the weighted arm hanging down here next to my leg. I'm going to drop my shoulders out of my ears, pull this shoulder blade down into the back pocket and keep it there while I row. Up and down. The downstroke is half the work. Nice. Good. That was 12. I'm switching sides. And again, long spine, shoulder anchored. So I've tucked it into my back pocket and I'm holding it there, even at the bottom of the stroke. So I'm not letting go all the way. I'm keeping that shoulder blade anchored. And working to control the weights up and down. So I'm pulling from the side of the rib cage. I think that's at least enough. Come back up to sitting upright. I've got elbows bent, palms up, and I'm going to just push straight out, pull back. So I'm keeping the weights kind of between chest and shoulder high, not higher than shoulder high, right? And you should feel this in the front of your shoulder and in your bicep. And if you're focusing on the pull back, you might get a little pinch between your shoulder blades too, and that's great. So it's a push and a pull. Beautiful. I don't know. 2 more? That works. Excellent. Okay, so now let's do forearm curls. So forearms rest on your thighs. Your wrists are right at your knees. Your palms are facing your knees. And we are going to curl right from the wrist, working through the forearms so that you can get your pickle jars open. So that you can keep a strong grip for opening doors, opening kids' seatbelt buckles, opening your water bottles, whatever you need. The muscles here in your forearms fuel that. I think that feels like enough. I'm going to turn them over, palms up, and curl this way. Nice. Excellent. I guess Ruby decided that we're too boring. Sorry. That's okay. It's better that way. Trust me. All right. So now I'm going to sit forward, lean back, and let's do a chest press. So I have the weights across my chest. My palms are facing away from me, and I'm going to press out and pull back. Think about the angle of the press here. We want to be pressing out from the chest rather than up from the shoulders. Actually, there's no harm in pressing up from the shoulders, but I want you to get a little bit lower into the chest muscles. Because we already did a lot of stuff for your shoulders. Oh, I think that's enough. That feels like plenty. Let's put your weights down and let's practice our sit to stand. Let's do 5 or 6 of these, I think. So here we go. My feet are as wide as my chair legs so that I have a stable base of support when I stand up. And my feet are about 3 or 4 inches in front of the chair leg. You may need to adjust depending on your own geometry, but we want to have your shoelaces a little bit under your knees. All right? So I'm going to sit up tall. I'm sitting on the front edge of the chair. I've got belly button drawn in, shoulders back and down. I'm going to hinge from my hip, and when my rear end starts to peel off the chair, that's when I drive through my heels to stand up. To sit down, it's just the reverse. Hinge from the hips first, and then the knees go back and down. Right? So, hinge from the hips, drive through the heels, fire up the back side of the body to come up, and then when you go down, hinge the hips so that they go back over your chair, lower with control, your weight is over your heels. Was that 2 or 3? Here we go. Here's another one. Coming up. That skinny boy is Moyes. He's an old skinny boy. And he too apparently needs to use the litter box right in the middle of our video. Don't get me started. This time I'm going to stay standing and come to the back of the chair. Nice. And hopefully I'm going to do my best to stay in the shot and not get my head cut off or any of that nonsense. And I'm going to start with just a side step tap. All right, so take your time, join in when you can. Just start with a nice easy step tap. Get used to standing up, let your hip flexors open up a little bit, get your shoulders back, pull up tall through your spine. And you can do this at whatever pace is comfortable for you. Bigger and faster works your heart more. Smaller and slower gives you a little bit of a break. Good. Come back to the center. I've got my feet hip width apart. Hi, little guy. He's not going to be as pushy as Ruby is. He's just checking things out. So here we go. Feet hip width apart. I'm going to come up on my toes and back down. I'm going to pull the chair off to the side so that you can see, just in case. I know you know how to do this. So I'm working through the feet, the ankles, the calves. Hi, little guy. I guess not. He's a cat. What do you want? Okay. Now I'm going to bring toes to knees. Working the front of the shins. Stretching the calves that you just worked. Nice. And now I'm going to bring my chair back so that I can do the leg out to the side. So I'm going to stand on one leg, bring the other leg right out to the side and back to the center. I'm doing my best to keep the leg on that perfect plane, lined up with my body, toe pointed straight ahead. All right. So what I'm not doing is bringing my leg forward of the plane of my body, and I am also not rotating the hip so that the foot turns out to the side. I'm keeping the toe straight ahead and the leg right in line with the body. And the other thing I'm trying really hard to do is control out and control back. So I want to be able to stop anywhere in that return without the leg just dropping. So I'm going to switch legs. You're going to keep working on that. If you find this move difficult to do, I would seriously urge you to try it every single day, standing at your kitchen sink so that you're not worried about balance, but you just focus right here on the side of the hip. This little muscle does not get worked enough because we don't do a lot of sideways action, right? We do everything forward. But this muscle provides a lot of stability when you're standing and helps with your balance. That's more than enough. Let's do some hip circles to loosen that up. So wide stance with your feet, circle with your hips. Let those guys loosen back up a little bit. And then switch directions. That feels good. Okay, let's get our heart rate up a little bit. I'm going to do some jumping jacks. Again, we don't actually jump. We just tap out with one foot and switch. Your arms can come up overhead like a traditional jumping jack, or if your shoulders like it better, just cross them in front. Either way works. Either way, get your heart rate up. Better is to do the one that doesn't hurt, always. And again, you can go as fast and as big as you like. We want you to be breathing deeply, but I don't want you to be gasping for air. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, let's stand on one leg. Let's do the hamstring curl. So I'm going to bring one toe back behind me, tuck the tailbone under, draw in on the belly button, pull up tall through the spine, and then I'm just going to bend the knee of the back leg. and straighten back to the same start position. So I'm keeping this back knee pointed just behind the leg I'm standing on. I'm trying not to let this working knee drift forward. That's a different exercise. So keeping it nice and upright, working the back of the leg here. If you reach back there, you can feel it. And you're only lifting your foot as high as you can without getting a cramp. If you're getting cramps doing this, it's a sign that you need to do it more often. More often, less intensely. I'm going to switch legs. So other leg goes back behind me, tailbone tucks under, belly button in, torso upright, and bend the knee. Here we go. And again, if this feels easy, do it in slow motion, especially the downstroke. It won't feel easy anymore. Beautiful, that's enough of that. Let's practice our big step back. So everybody turn to your left. Hold the chair with your right hand, stand on your right foot, use your left foot to take a big step back, and then bring your feet back together. So I'm just going to keep stepping back on the left foot only. Step back, feet together. Once you feel pretty confident doing this, you can bend both knees as you step back, turn it into a lunge. And again, the reason I love this exercise is because this is the hard part about getting off the floor. If you're down on the floor, it's this standing up and bringing your feet together that's so hard. And you can already feel your heart rate is going up because you're lifting and lowering your whole body. So it's an aerobic move too, as well as a strength move. I'm going to turn around the other way. So holding with my left hand, standing on my left foot, stepping back on my right foot, and together. Right, and I want you holding on as much as you need to, but as little as possible. So once you feel pretty strong and pretty controlled doing this, then start lightening your grip on the chair. Nice, that's plenty. Plenty, plenty. Okay, let's start our stretches, I think. That feels like enough for right now. So I've got 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. My back heel is on the floor. I've got my feet pointed straight ahead, right? Toes pointed straight ahead. I'm just going to lean forward a little bit to deepen the stretch on that back calf. If it's too tight, if it's uncomfortable, bring the foot a little closer in. Find the place where the stretch feels really good, not painful. The stretching part is the part where we start to relax and cool down a little bit. I'm going to switch legs. So again, pointing my toes straight ahead. Back heel is touching the floor. And I'm just stretching the back calf. And I'm trying to relax in that stretched position. Beautiful. That feels good. Come back behind your chair. Hold on to the back of your chair as you take a couple of steps backward. Hinge from your hips. Keep your tailbone lifted. So you may find you need to bend your knees to be in that position. And then wherever your shoulders let you flatten out to is great. And I'm just pulling tailbone in one direction, head in the other. Then tuck your hips underneath you to come up carefully. Keep holding on. Also pause for a second when you get to the top. Make sure you didn't get dizzy from having your head forward before you let go of the chair and come around to the front. And hopefully you sat down carefully like you were doing a nice controlled squat. Again, if you do no other exercise, then sit to stand. That'll help you more than you know. All right, let's chill out, cool down, stretch, relax. Let's start with chicken head. My favorite, pretty much my favorite neck exercise, I think. So sitting up tall, pull the head back over the shoulders and tuck the chin. And release, back and tuck, and release. Love having a record of this on video because I know how good it looks. But you know what? It feels good and it's good for your neck. So I'm going to take one for the team. And again, hopefully you can see in the rear view how far back I'm pulling my head. Ideally, if your spine is in nice alignment, your earlobe lines up right over your shoulder. Most of us are more like this. So there we go. With your head pulled back over your shoulders, go back to chin up and down. Now that you've been working, your muscles are warmer, hopefully a little bit looser, and you can hold a stretch. Hopefully long enough for the tension to release. Now with chin parallel to the floor, and again, head back over your shoulders. Rotate, pause at the end, and then reverse direction. Nice. Now I'm going to stretch the side of the neck. So from a nice upright and vertical position, I'm going to tilt ear towards shoulder. Let the opposite ear come away from its shoulder. I can drop that arm, hold on below the chair, or tuck the arm behind the back. And I'm just letting the weight of my head plus gravity stretch these muscles on the side of the neck. And you can experiment with your head placement here a little bit. If you lean it back or forward or rotate a little bit, you can feel all the tight places. And then I'm going to come carefully back to the middle and tilt the other way. Ear towards shoulder, drop the opposite shoulder away from the ear. Nice, back to the middle. Let's reach one arm straight ahead in front of its shoulder. And then we're going to pull the arm across the chest. You can use your other arm to help. So that you're stretching this outside of the shoulder. I'm dropping it out of my ear. other arm, reach straight ahead, drop the shoulder, pull the arm across the chest. Beautiful. Relax. I'm going to take one arm behind my back and the hand is palm out. The hand is below the belt, right? So it's right back there on the flat part of the sacrum. I'm sitting up nice and tall, and I'm just going to pull that arm straight off my back so that I'm stretching here in the front of the shoulder. And I'm only coming as far off as feels good. Some of you, it'll be all you can do to get your hand back in that position, and you should just stay right there and try to relax in the stretch. Nice. I'm going to do the other arm. So palm out, just below the waist. Lift the hand off the back. Nice. All right, let's do a little wrist stretch. So put out a stop sign with your hand. Straighten your elbow here, right? And then pull back with your fingers so that you're stretching through your forearm. But again, straighten that elbow. It's completely different if you bend the elbow versus straighten it. We want the straight elbow stretch. Then point the fingers down at the floor, still straight elbow. Pull back on the back of your hand, just till you feel a stretch across the wrist and through the forearms. Should not hurt, right? So only go as far as you can without pain. Always helps to take a deep breath, relax there. And then shake your wrist a little bit. We'll go to the other arm. So stop sign with your hand, straight elbow. Pull the fingers back towards you to deepen the stretch. And then reverse by pointing the fingers toward the floor, still straight elbow, and then gently pull back on the back of the hand. And relax as much as you can, right? We want to be in a stretched position, but we want it to not be painful. So sometimes it's hard work to find just that narrow margin of it's stretching, but it still feels good. So now to the hamstring stretch, we're going to put one leg out straight in front of you, sitting on the front edge of your chair and lifting up tall through your spine. And then we're going to hinge just from the hip, like you're trying to get your chin down there to your toes. You're going to pause when you feel the back of your leg tighten up or you feel your knees start to bend. So just pause there, take a deep breath. You may feel like pulsing at the ankle. Do a little flex. Again, as you exhale, see if you can soften the muscles, deepen the stretch. Then let's go to the other side. Leg out straight. Sit up tall through your spine. Hinge from the hip. Make like you're going to put your chin on your toes. Right, so you don't get any more benefit out of doing the slumping forward. That increases the strain on your low back, but doesn't do anything to help stretch the hamstrings. That's why I like you to keep that nice straight spine and really focus in the hamstrings. Nice. Now come back up and let's do the figure 4 hip stretch. So one foot rests on the opposite knee, or you can rest across the ankle. but we want to get that little bit of external rotation at this hip. You may also find that you need to lean back to have enough space to rotate there without pain. So that's fine. Or if you're comfortable in this position, you can fold forward over your lap to deepen the stretch in this hip. And again, just get into the stretch and try to relax there. Try to consciously release the tension you feel in the muscles. Then we're going to switch legs. Sit up tall. Fold forward till you feel a comfortable tension in that hip. And just hold there. And again, the amount of time we hold these stretches is nowhere near enough for most of you. You could sit here for a minute or two and really feel the muscles begin to release. So if any of these stretches that we do feels good to you, try it again at home. Try to hold it for a longer period of time. I think you'll be pleased with the results. Nice. Come back up to upright. Let's do our twisting stretch. So I'm going to take right hand across to the outside of my left knee. I'm going to lift up tall through the spine and then turn to look over my left shoulder like I'm backing out of the driveway. Then unwind back to the middle. We'll turn the other way. So left hand outside right knee. Lift up tall through your spine. Turn to look over your right shoulder. Unwind back to the center. And then let's do our great big center stretch. So reach up toward the ceiling, tilt to the side, and other way. Once more, back and forth. Tall again in the middle. Suck in on your belly button before you take that big swan dive forward. Let your head drop between your knees. Let your low back relax. Reach out to one side and the other side. Back in the middle, suck up on your belly button before you curl up. As you curl up, get as tall as you can through your spine. Shoulders back and down. Take a deep breath. How do you feel? I hope you had a good time. Again, thank you so much for giving me the time off. I will see you when I get back, and looking forward to seeing you again in person. Take care. Thanks, everybody.